Warning: the following video might contain some elements that might not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discussion is advised. I am almost 30 years old, but somehow conversations about Lego seem to attract themselves to me. Haven't touched a brick in at least a decade. There's a box of them tucked away in my parents' leaky basement somewhere, but for some reason, when I'm around, people start unloading their childhood sagas of Legos, spacemen, and Lego castles. Lego sets that came in Happy Meals, Lego set that had a piece missing, whatever. I was more of a Ninja Turtle guy myself. Wherever it's some neckbeard telling me about his 3,000 piece World War II diorama, or an angry lesbian complaining about how misogynistic the new French sets are, these conversations always bring my memories back to one person, Jimmy Miners. It's because of Jimmy Miners that my one contribution to these Lego conversations is to be, do you ever get a Lego set with an extra piece? A woman's head with her eyes closed? I got enough blank stares and awkward chuckles to learn that it hasn't happened to anyone else. Jimmy was the effed up kid in my grade school. Total spaz. He threw tantrums in class. The whole thing. He was He threw tantrums in class. The whole thing. He was in my class in 6th grade. I only went to his house once. I remember it being weird that his parents weren't there. It was a big house, but there weren't many lights on. It was late afternoon. There wasn't anyone coming home from work, or making dinner, or anything. Anyway, when we went into his room, I couldn't believe how many toys he had. There were new toys, too. Not hand-me-down, He-Man, and G.I. Joe figures like I always had. His true present was Lego, and he had shelves full of different sets. At the time, I thought, even though I don't really like him, he must be the luckiest kid in the world. I only went to his house that one time, but from then on, he always brought to school the box or the instructions or whatever new set he got to me, he got to show me. Not this one time. This was 98, 99. He was practically pissing his pants to show me what he had. He slowly, dramatically zipped open his backpack like he had Nazi gold or something. I wish I couldn't remember the name of the set, but the box he handed me showed an old-fashioned explorer guy driving a jeep through the desert. The angry skeleton mummy was coming up from behind the jeep and kind of pushing over and surprising the explorer. Pretty cool, I drawled, letting my growing one of these Lego reveal sessions show itself just a little bit. His ratty little face squeezed into a taunting grin. Only one thing missing, right? He asked. I wasn't catch on, so I shrugged. He pointed at the jeep. 2 seats, 1 explorer. He brought his open hand up and lifted his elbow, making a sarcastic guessing game gesture, and asked wide-eyed, "Where's the other person?" "I don't know," I answered impatiently, looking at the clock. "Maybe the mummy can go for a ride too?" Ignore my answer. He held my gaze with his maniac eyes while he dug a Ziploc baggie out of his pocket. He got the baggie's slurry item out with his fingers, picturing it like a precious jewel. He held it in front of my face. It was just a born yellow Lego hand. But as I kept looking at it, it really wasn't boring. Not at all. It wasn't the same smiley face printed on trillions of other Lego heads. It wasn't even smiling. Or at least not really. Its lipsticks were straight, never sad, or maybe serene. But the creepy things, its eyes were closed. Instead of 2 perfect circles, its eyes were tiny U's. Frickin' Jimmy Miners was just standing there with that fan in my face, and I couldn't figure out what he wanted from me. Is this a joke? Did he meticulously paint a perfectly creepy face on a blank Lego head? This extra head was in the bag, he hoarsely whispered. When did they make it? She was supposed to be in a jeep, he answered for himself. Look at the box. It says there were supposed to be 74 pieces. The set only has 71. I counted. All the regular pieces, plus this one. It's missing her body, legs, and hair, but this head is for me. I was accustomed to crazy violent drama from Jimmy, but this creepy part of him from something new and maybe dangerous. So they took her out of production? As I asked, trying to steer this conversation back to real life as I walked towards the classroom door. Why didn't they keep her as part of the set? Because, Jimmy said, climbing his talon fingers onto my arm, she's dead. So fast forward all these years with me having it in the back of my head. Sometimes Lego sets come with weird out of production extra pieces. I hadn't seen or heard from Jimmy Miners at all since 7th grade because of where we live in town. We went to different junior highs, but I'm pretty sure he got kicked out of school. I can ask around, but I think I heard that he tried to attack a teacher. Now this gets tricky because there's this guy at work that had shed some light on all this. But I'm not sure he wants this getting out. Let's call him Craig. A bunch of us from work were going out for drinks late on a Friday. It worked out that I went to Craig's house while we waited for everyone to get their shack together. Craig's is a cool guy, kind of quiet, but we got along fine at work. Went to his apartment and I sat on this couch. I had a PBR while he was checking his messages or whatever. He had a lot of framed photographs on the wall. Some of them pretty old, so I was just asking him about them. But mostly pictures of families or friends of his family. There was one photo of Craig when he was probably about 13, and a little kid in a black Power Rangers shirt. They had slugged their arms around each other's necks, posing for the camera with huge smiles. "This must be your brother," I said, touching the photo. "He looks a lot like you." "Yeah," he said quietly. "Donnie. He was 70 years old there. I don't see him much anymore. That picture reminds me of our happier times together." "Like a dingus?" I asked. "You had a falling out?" He paused, then sucked in air through his lips and ran his fingers through his hair. I knew this answer, so I took it back. Things happen, bud. We don't have to go there," I said. Or something like that, anyway. For whatever reason, the universe just works like this, I guess. But we had the TV on, and a few minutes after this conversation, a commercial for the Lego movie came on. I don't know specifically how the conversation started, but as I said, I'm a human being for a Lego talk. As it turned out that Craig's brother Donnie had been into Lego when he was a kid, so I thought maybe this is meant to be. Because talking about Lego got Craig talking about his brother. By the time we were in the car, Craig was in full swing of talking about his brother's Lego sets, so I decided to ask, "Did your brother ever get any extra weird pieces in his set? Like heads for fingers that didn't exist?" "Oh," he said, the smile straining from his face. "Yeah, there was the girl's torso." Heart dropped into my stomach. Donnie got the set with a desert adventurer in a car. He continued, "A jeep with a skeleton mummy?" I asked, all too knowingly. He nodded and smiled weakly. "Yeah, you know of it, I guess. While he was building it, he took out a piece and hid it in his fist. He didn't want anyone to see it. That was weird. He was usually such a bright, open, goofy person, but eventually I got him to show me." It was a woman's blouse, white. I remember being really detailed, especially for how long ago this was. There were little buttons printed up and down the front of her shirt. They even had wispy, curvy lines to show that the shirt was supposed to be kind of poofy. I was about to tell him about Jimmy Minor's Lego head from all those years ago, but Craig wasn't done. "The effed up part, through," he said, forcing himself to go on, "is that there were tiny red lines coming down from the torso's neck. I don't know what they were supposed to be, but it looked exactly like thin rivulets of blood leaking out from a slit throat. When I got into the bar, Craig threw his car into park and pulled out his keys. Then we just sat there for a minute in silence, him with his forehead in his hands. Before he went on. "My brother was obsessed with that Lego piece. He never used it to make a Lego figure, but he would make it be a centerpiece of his creations. He'd make little shrines for it, pyramid shapes, things like that. He put candles around his shrines. He said he never lit the candles, but I could tell the dripped wax that he did. I think he did it at night. My parents certainly didn't know anything about this Lego piece. Well, one night, I woke up because I thought I heard Donnie listening to the radio in his room. It was some kind of low, raspy speaking. I quietly got out of my room and walked to his door, and it freaked me out. I could hear that it was actually Donnie making that noise. He was speaking rhythmically, like a chant or prayers at church, but it was a creepy voice that wasn't quite his. It wasn't English. It sounded like it was Arabic or something. I could tell from the wavy, dim light coming out from under the door that he had those candles lit. When I heard a pause in the chant, I turned the handle on the door and creaked it open. It was hard to tell what was going on because the candle light was weird in my eyes, but eventually I could see the whole thing. Donnie was crouched over the shrine, which he obviously spent some time building into a temple. In the center, behind the altar, the mummy skeleton was holding up the girl's torso in its raised arms, The candles were carefully arranged in a circle around the temple. Donnie didn't look at me at first. Donnie almost wasn't there. He was repeating that strange language, and his eyes seemed to be glowing. Making another wider circle around the candles was every toy, stuffed animal, and action figure that he and I ever had in the house. He-Men, Power Rangers, Care Bears, Turtles, Wrestling Guys, all of them. They were facing the temple, and all their heads had been removed. The wolf gulp, pause. I tried to whisper his name. Donnie! Donnie! He slowly looked up and began chanting in English. She's dead. She's dead. The gods will eat our heads. Over and over. The gods will eat our heads. I went into the room, snatched the bloody freaking torso out of the temple, and threw it out the window. Donnie slept to the floor and had some kind of episode. Convulsions. Then he was just asleep. I'll pick him up and put him into his bed. I blew out the candles and put them away. I put all the dead toys in the bag and eventually threw them away. I took apart his temple and removed just enough pieces that he couldn't make it again. I threw those pieces away too. The next day, well, we didn't talk about what had happened. I went out into the yard to find that torso piece, but I couldn't find it. So basically, the main thing is that things had never really been the same between the two of us since then. We talked a little more. Apparently, Donnie just got really withdrawn, started doing poorly in school, and moved out of town as soon as he could when he turned 18. I don't know. Still don't really know what else to say to correct about it. So there you go. Stop bringing up your Lego stories around me, unless you found an extra set of legs and hair. So that was the dead Lego Creepypasta and final thoughts on it. That was a pretty great but kind of underrated Creepypasta, since there's as someone as a Lego fan, this Creepypasta is kind of very interesting, especially that one pretty morbid part about the you know like you know the one with the narrators is friends is brother Donnie, who just doing the chanting thing is kind of a bit creepy, especially the part where Donnie says that the gods will eat our heads after mention about that Lego minifigure is dead. Yeah, pretty kind of morbid, at least there's no hyper realistic blood in this one, because it's always been the cliche in creepypastas nowadays. Yeah, I know hyper realistic blood is kind of like a cliche thing for creepypasta stuff. So yeah. So anywho, the dead Lego creepypasta, pretty good, but very underrated in a sense. Not a lot of people just kind of didn't talk about this creepypasta more. This is actually pretty interesting, as a Lego fan. So don't have anything else to say, but hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and like and comment this video and subscribe for more content. So this is Mr. Freddy here, and I'm out of here.